inside another dimension, face battling barbarians and evil magic on a quest for adventure in a maze of monsters. Once you get into it, you'll never be the same. Hero Quest. Now, with 2 new adventure packs, the legend grows.
Hi, welcome back to Not Your Mother's Hobbies. Today we have a very special expansion to start off our expansion run. It's the Guardian Knight. This is a character expansion, a little mini one, coming with 2 miniatures, male and female, and it's the first one that we've ever really had like this, extra character classes. So let's get to it. Okay, starting things off, we're going to do a cape. And we've done red capes before, and it's much the same. So we're going to start off with our contrast, Blood Angel's red, and we're going to do the inside, the outside of the cloak, as well as he has a couple little like red clothing pieces. I think he's got a little coat, like an undercoat or surcoat or something underneath his armor. We're going to get those with red as well. So just follow along or reference the artwork as we always do. You can see here, that's what I'm doing right there, underneath his arms, and right there, hanging out underneath his armor as well. And he's got a little bit on his neck too, little collar. We're using Black Templar here for all the belts. We're using black instead of brown because it's going to give us a different kind of contrast against his black skin. That's a clever way to keep leather and skin kind of differentiated or to pop off of each other, is to keep that kind of color ratio in mind. So depending on the ratios, like the color ratios of your scheme, that's a way to balance things out and not have details get lost. We're also going to use that black on his beard and his hair. Be careful with that beard and mustache, it's very delicate, but hey, it's paint, we can paint over, we'll touch it up. Then we're coming in with Basilicanum Gray. We're doing our normal steel metal blocking, our silver metallic blocking. So that's going to be all of his scale mail I think he's wearing, as well as his plate mail. So he's got plate mail on his greaves, he's got some knee pads, he's got forearm bracers, and then he's got his scale mail, which comes down as tassets down the side. So just go in there and get all that like we normally do, in preparation for the silver metallics later. Keep in mind though, I'm not doing this on his shield, and you'll see why when we get to the shield. And just like I said, we're coming in with some Wraithbone to do some touch-ups. So if you made any little mistakes or anything like that, get in there, touch them up with Wraithbone or whatever off-white or white you're using, and really tidy things up. You can see that I'm tidying up his little neck area, the collar of his surcoat, which I had forgotten to paint red at that time. Just goes to show you don't have to do any of these steps in this order particular. You can flip-flop back and forth. Snakebite leather here we have for our wood on the back of the shield. And skeleton horde for all of the fur trim. I chose to do a kind of warm trim. I mean, it's kind of in the artwork as well. You know me, I like to match the artwork if it's there. But it also really balances nicely against his cold gray armor. So it gives us a nice accent. We're using Nightshade here. It's Dragonhof Nightshade. It's just a shade. We're using it for a lighter kind of pant than Space Wolves Gray would have given us. And you'll notice here, the shield, like I mentioned before, is not getting that gray treatment, and we're going straight on with chrome. And that's because in the artwork, the shield is extremely shiny, very, very shiny, way more shiny than the armor. And so I wanted to get an effect of just that. So we're starting plainly with chrome and just get it in there, all the little accents and stuff. You don't have to be super precise because washes will go over, but all the big holes and whatnot. Guilliman flesh after that, all along the trim and whatnot, just to get our gold blocking in. And like I said, it's going to go inside those little crevices and cracks and whatnot, and especially when we shade over top with Reichland gloss and the Nuln Oil gloss, etc. Like it's going to fill in those cracks. So don't be too precise about the cracks. Don't worry about that stuff. Just worry about the big areas, the flat areas. And of course, he's got a couple little other golden bits and bobs around, so keep an eye out on him. Talasar blue, this is for the blue trim on his armor. So he's got like a cloth trim, like padded underneath his scale mail. Maybe a padded buff jacket or something, as well as he's got this wrap around his waist. So we're just going to hit that with Talasar blue. It's going to make it pop. Very bright and saturated to stand out against that gray armor. We're using Cygor Brown. This is for his skin. Remember, it's that red kind of warm dark brown that we're then going to build up off of. That's going to give us a pretty nice fleshy starting area. And then here, you can see, take time with the face. We've even got some eyebrows painted on there. Just take your time. He has a lot of detail sculpted into his face, and we don't always see that, so let's take advantage of it. Alright, you know what we're doing. We like that white highlight on red. It makes the red stand out. So we're dry brushing our crummy dollar store white on here. Oh, what's that? What's that? My Pro Acryl white? Where's the Pro Acryl? Hey, it's coming. It's coming. I haven't used it yet. It's coming. You'll see. As soon as I do, we got a lot of snowy guys coming. I'm pretty sure that Pro Acryl's review is coming up. Don't forget his hair and his beard as well. We're going to tone it down, so do not be afraid to get him graying like an old man. We're also going to use it here. You can see I'm doing some spot highlights with a thin brush. You don't have to do this, but it does help since the dry brush can't always get in those areas. And just like I said about that grizzly gray hair, we're putting Nuln Oil on, not the gloss type, and we're just going to tone down those dry brushed white highlights to just bring them back down. Retributor armor, putting the gold on everything. Anything and everything you hit with the Gulliman, you know it by now. We just line it up, smack it out of the park, and hit it with some Retributor gold or whatever gold you got. And here you can see I'm just focusing on the flats, just the flats, right? All of our washes, everything else is going to hit those cracks. Just do the flats. Coming back with gunmetal. We're going to get up all of our silver metallics in here. Anything that was basilicanum gray, we are dropping that gunmetal on business as usual. You know what comes next. Gloss shades, and we're starting off with Reichland Fleshshade Gloss. Put that all over your golds, all over everything. Get it all in there, get it wet, get it shiny, get it glistening, give it some depth. And you can see here, we're putting it into, not on top of the silver, but into those creases, those crevices. Even on the rim, you're seeing it get in there. That's going to fine line it real nice. Following it up with Nuln Oil Gloss, and we're just putting that on all of his silver armor. Get the depth in there, get those shadows and creaks and crevices all shaded up, get them glossy, get them shiny. And you can use this as well to help fine line the shield as well, those silver parts you put on there. That silver chrome is going to shine through, so do not worry about that. You can use that on the shield. Fenrisian Gray here to highlight up and fine line that buff jacket. You can see here I'm doing the pads. That padded armor underneath, that pads, it really pops it out, makes it stand out. And then here, you can see it on his sash, how that's really going to bring it out and stand out. And then don't forget, he's got those shoulder pads too. This is going to make that lining really stand out. Here we have highlighting the skin up. We're going to use Blood Reaver Flesh If you've seen my other dark skin videos, then you know what's coming. You know the layout. We're just going to repeat the same thing. It's a pretty good color scheme for skin, I found. I haven't experimented enough to have like a hot highlight that would be nice, but maybe a Bugman's Glow or something similar, like a dark pinky could be good. I'm sure that there's another kind of brown. Recommend in the comments down below if you've got any browns that might be a good hot highlight, like I do with my lighter skin. Little ping highlight. We got Nightquester Flesh to follow up with our hottest highlight. We're just going to go around and hit all those little sneaky details, the fingers, the knuckles, anything that's going to be a focus and bright area that's getting hit by that light. Here on the face, you can see I'm going to take my time. We're doing this one in real time. We're going to show you most of the process. Just take your time, nice and slow. Go over areas. We're hitting cheeks, we're hitting nose, we're hitting forehead. And we're being very delicate of those eyebrows, the mustache, and the beard. Coming in here with Wraithbone for some furry fuzzy highlights. And just going around dotting in, spotting in all those little highlight areas. You could do lines, you could do rough lines. The good thing about fur is if you're doing rough, scraggy lines, it's just going to add texture, more texture to that fur. So you don't have to be too precise if you don't want to. The other good thing about fur is if you're doing dots, thick, nice, bright dots, that's hella going to stand out against all the different variation of darks and shades and whatnot. Usually fur has great texture for the contrast to sit in, so that's really gonna make everything pop. Here we got Chrome, our favorite, coming in here. We're doing a wider highlight on the plate because I really want his armor to seem, chivalric, honorable, and bright. So it's not going to be as bright as the shield, but you will notice that at least on the plates, I'm doing very wide highlights. Even here on his scale mail, you can see I'm doing kind of broad strokes over everything, not really caring too much. Don't worry about obscuring detail or whatnot. You can always go over, and I do myself, you will see, with a Nuln Oil Gloss, again, just to tone it down or lightly settle in the crevices. Don't forget his little belt buckle, and hit those gold, shiny, pingy hot spots as well. And just as predicted, we're doing Nuln Oil Gloss just to settle back in those crevices again and reinforce those shadows. That chrome is going to shine through, do not worry about it, and if you need to, you can dot in some extra highlights after the fact, but you shouldn't have to, should be okay, do not stress. Blood Angel's Red here for a Gemmy, and Dollar Store White for a highlight. Now remember that Gemmy is on both sides, here you can see, so get it on both sides, red and white. And then our normal base of gray paint, texture paint, dry brush, wash, and dry brush. And as always, if you guys need a more in-depth look at this basing, just check out some of my older videos. And here we go. That's our Guardian Knight. Check him out. Really nice depth and contrast in this guy. I'm super satisfied. Check that out. Everything pops and pings off of him. You can see the real color differentiation. All the textures and stuff. Nothing gets lost on this guy, I don't feel. I feel like everything is kind of noticeable. You see what's going on. Here's the alternate sculpt. Same thing. That shield is really bright. Everything's shiny. You can see all the different details, the breakup, differentiation of details, really standing out. I think the art that we followed also helps with that. They have a really good color scheme for these guys. I've actually found for most of the new Hero Quest character art updates and whatnot that that's true as well. With this little mini expansion dealt with, we next have Frozen Horror, our first big expansion with brand new models. So let me know in the comments down below what you're looking forward to in that expansion if you painted your Guardian Knight. Like, subscribe, hit all the bloops, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!